Hi guys, and welcome back to another lesson in algebra. In today's lesson we're kind of continuing on what we learned in the previous lesson, but we're just starting to add what we call pronumerals, and we're going to learn what pronumerals are and how we use them. So what are pronumerals and variables? So the first thing we're going to learn is a pronumeral is a letter or a symbol that is used in place of a number. So on the previous lesson we learned how to do this using the words in and out. So in was what we were putting into our equation and out was what we were getting. Now the in is our pronumeral or our variable that is constantly changing. So the variable is part of the rule that changes constantly. So we don't have a fixed number for it, so it changes depending on what we're told. So if we look at this question that we did the other day of how much money do you have? So you have 3 of the same coins, but you don't know what they are. So that is the amount that we have at the end is dependent on what each coin is worth. So this means that you have 3 times an unknown number of coins, which we've put a question mark here for. And that's going to give us how many coins or how much money we have in total. Now we can write this as an expression, which means we put a letter in place of that unknown, that variable. So we would write it as 3 times y, and I just chose y. I could put c for coins, but I just did 3 times y. And the y means what is the coin worth. So 3 times whatever the coin is worth. And another way you can write this is 3y, and 3y means 3 times y. If you have a number and a letter like this, it means the number times whatever that letter represents. So in this case, the letter represents the number of the value of the coins. So let's do some examples. So for these questions here, we're going to write each rule as a formula using A for the in number and B for the out number. So we're going to replace the in with A and the out with B. So for question number A, so we would write it as B equals A times 4. Now, if you remember from the previous slide, that we can write it as B equals 4A because we can remove that times. Now, when we write it like this, we always put our number or what we call our coefficient first in front of our pronumeral or our variable. And this one we get B equals A divided by 5. And so we would write that as B equals A over 5 because that means divided by 5. So we're going to use the pronumeral in the table to write a formula. So we're trying to find out what does y equal. That's what we're finding out. So y equals something. So we're going to always start with x. So y equals something we've done to x. So in this case, what do I have to do to go from 5 to 3? Well, I'm going to subtract 2. So we got our pronumeral of x, or our variable, the thing that is always changing, minus 2. Now if I was to put 6 into here, it would be y equals 6, take away 2. So y equals 6, take away 2 equals 4. 7, take away 2 equals 5. 8 take away 2 equals 6, and 9 take away 2 equals 7. So we can see that our rule works. The last thing we're going to do, and we did a little bit of this when we looked at Cartesian planes, but we're going to plot this table on our graph. So x equals 1, y equals 6. So x equals 1, you can't really see the numbers very well, and y equals 6 is here. X equals 2, y equals 7, and you can pause it and do the last 3 points on your graph. And what you should get is 3 and 8, 4 and 9, and 5 and 10. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask. Otherwise, get into the questions, have some practice, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks, guys.